she's outside the cafe, and then some guys come up and grab her and throw her in a van, and then they take off. And then implies that she is later killed. I like the ambiguous ending.
Yeah.
Where you don't really know what happened to her,
because it plays into the subplot of their romantic kind of feelings towards each other, and then him wondering, like, is she gonna will she come back? But because he revealed to her that he is CIA, she's not gonna take that chance of getting caught either.
Yeah, it's a good ending the way that it ended up. Yeah, test audiences, man. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes they focus group your movie into a mess. But I like the ambiguous ending personally.
Yeah, I think it works. Works well.
We didn't really talk about it when we were talking about kind of laying at the plot, but the way that the film is shot is totally like a 70s like paranoia thriller.
Mm-hmm.
To bring it back to Munich again, that's the way Munich is shot too, with like the wide angles and like you kind of like the zooms, or the camera will start over here and then kind of look through like a wide angle and then kind of zoom in on your main focus or your main character in the scene. It will kind of it'll search for that character. Just the way that it's shot and edited is totally like a 70s. Even the score, which we didn't really get into, the score, which is, what's the guy's name? It was kind of like his first real score that he did.
For a major studio, I think.
Yeah. Elia Cimerel? Czech. He's a Czech composer. But the music is really good and kind of menacing, very much like a 70s, like a score that you would find in a 70s film. And honestly, like, the score is there during the car chases, but it's not like bombastic and overpowering. It's like it's underneath like all the sound effects. You hear the cars and you hear the tires and you hear the motors, but you don't really hear the score, but it's there, which I really dug because it wasn't overpowering.
Yeah, it's more ambient, I guess you'd say, right?
But, when it does come in, it's, got the drums and the trumpets and something that you would definitely find like in a 70s paranoia movie, like some of the greats that are Parallax View or like 3 Days of the Condor, something like that. So I wanted to shout out the score, and we didn't really cover that as a. Forgot that, and while we're shouting out the way it's shot, shout out his cinematographer, which is Robert Frezzi, who was a French cinematographer. Yeah, really, the way that it's shot, the way it's scored, it's edited, so well done. So, you mentioned the film opens in September 1998, up against Rush Hour, which was, if I remember, was a pretty big hit.
Yeah, that this opened at number 2 again. Yeah, and Rush Hour number 1.
And I think that was Rush Hour's second week of release, actually. I think Rush Hour came out the week before and was still at number 1. Ronin opened up against Urban Legend. Remember Urban Legend?
Of course, yeah. Wow, really?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I'm looking to see what else it opened up against, and Urban Legend is the other major studio release.
That's crazy. Jamie Blanks, man.
What? Urban Legend might be MGM as well. That's weird that they would have 2 movies. Or is it Urban Legend New Line?
Let me look it up, but I don't think it's MGM.
I would say that's crazy to open up, two of your movies against each other. It's Sony. It's Screen Gems.
Oh, okay.
Screen Gems, which is Sony. Urban Legends Final Cut is awful.
Oh, yeah. I really like the first one for what it is, but yeah, the sequel was bad. And then there's a third one that I've never even seen, apparently. It's like Urban Legends Bloody Mary or some bullshit like that.
Straight to video or something. So yeah, it opens up decently, but it only makes about 40 mil in the U.S. Pulls in 70 mil worldwide. It's like on a $55 million budget, so it makes money. But I mean, that should have been a much bigger hit, man. It's so good.
And this came out in September, so it's like the fall.
Yeah, it was a late September movie. So it should have been better. I know Rush Hour was kind of dominating the box office then, but it's too bad. It's a shame that Ronin didn't do much better. I was looking at not only the reviews, which were mostly positive, but some people were calling out the car chases for being too long, or saying like the plot was derivative. It's like, who cares? Like, it's a good action movie. It doesn't need to have some overly complicated plot.
I think I read some reviews where they were saying that the plot was too complicated or convoluted. I was just like, what?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty simple, actually.
Yeah, as long as, like I said, besides the throwing around some names kind of fast, other than that, it's pretty, self-explanatory.
Yeah, like the ambiguity to it doesn't make it hard to follow. It just means like, you don't really know who's working for who or who's on what side.
Yeah, but I mean, that's how espionage works, right?
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, I saw those reviews, but then I'm looking, and it's like the audience score, they gave like a C.
Oh yeah, the cinema score, right? C+.
Yeah, fuck cinema score, man. Audiences are dumb as shit. And I can't believe it. And then when I was looking at some of the other cinema scores for Frankenheimer's movies, I was like, The Island of Dr. Moreau received a C as well. Like, what the fuck is that?
Do you think it should have got an F?
Yeah, it's awful.
Is there somewhere I can watch that if I wanted to? Do you know?
Island of Dr. Moreau? I don't know. You'd have to look it up. Let me look up IMDb really quick. Usually that'll tell you kind of how it's accessible. The Island of Dr. Moreau says watch on Prime Video for a couple of bucks.
Oh, okay.
It's not that long, if I remember. Yeah, it's only about 90 minutes, so it's not a huge commitment, but I cannot under any circumstances recommend that movie. Yeah, I saw the cinema score for that was like a C, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Ronin received the same cinema score as The Island of Dr. Moreau? Fucking audiences are dumb. Great movie. Great Frankenheimer movie. A late career masterpiece, like you said, return to form. Unfortunately, he makes one more theatrical movie after this. Do you know what that movie was?
The name is escaping me at the moment.
It's Reindeer Games.
Oh, yes. I knew that. Oh, man. What a movie that is, Ben Affleck.
Oh, man. It's like, dude, I don't remember when Frankenheimer died. But it was, oh, man, you had this masterpiece movie you could have bowed out right there. And instead you made another one, and it's another pretty fucking shitty movie. Frankenheimer died in 2002. So I think he did something else, but it wasn't theatrical. He made a TV movie called Path to War, which I believe is another HBO movie.
Oh.
But Reindeer Games was his last theatrical movie. Damn. So in between these two awful theatrical movies, The Island of Dr. Moreau and Reindeer Games, he makes this masterpiece action film that I wish he had bowed out on.
Reindeer Games is like 3,000 Miles of Graceland bad, dude.
Oh, dude. Don't get me started on 3,000 Miles of Graceland. Yeah, you're right. It's a bad movie. It's one where it came out around the same time as Scream 3. They were both written by the same guy, Aaron Kruger. And both of those movies are laughable at the end with the over-explanation of everything you just saw. And, like, everything that just happened.
Oh, man.
Like, think of, like, the worst Bond movie ever, and, you know, the villain's explanation for, like, the whole plot. And, like, times that by 5 or 10, and that's the end of Scream 3 and the end of Reindeer Games. Where it's like a 10-minute monologue on, yeah, so I set you up using this, and then we did this, and it's ridiculous. It's laughable. And I remember laughing at the end of both of those movies.
God, Scream 3 is such trash. I was like, and I rewatched it again recently. I think I went through them all, and I feel like the intro's all right with Cotton. I felt like that's a good introduction, and then everything after that point is just ridiculous. And them trying to be overly funny doesn't help anything either.
No. No, it's a really bad movie. That's a movie I wish Wes Craven had the sense to say no to.
Yeah.
But
he's like, oh, by the way, you had a brother this whole time.
Yeah.
And I've been conspiring everything for like all of these movies.
And then the guy it's Roman, it's Scott Foley, right?
Yes.
He gets shot like a dozen times in the chest, and even though he's wearing like a bulletproof vest, he just like takes it like it's nothing.
Yeah.
When instead he's probably lucky he didn't like have a ton of broken ribs.
Yeah, because you're still getting you're still feeling the impact.
Oh yeah. It'll definitely bruise you up and, you know, crack bones, break bones,
or even probably it could knock you unconscious.
Yeah. You know, take the wind right out of you. And I just remember sitting there like watching the movie, and he's taking all these shots to the chest.
Oh, and then somebody yells like, the head, shoot him in the head.
And just goes, this guy would be dead. This guy would have got knocked on his ass with the first shot. We're not here to talk about a shitty movie like
we already talked about it technically anyway.
But about Scream 3 or fucking Reindeer Games. We're here to talk about a rad action movie. So, I think that's all my notes. I think that's closes me out.
Cool.
On Ronin, but I highly recommend it. Like we've talked about, I think it's a really underrated movie, probably something that's little seen, judging by the audience score. Like, I don't know what movie some people were expecting, because it's not like it's boring. There's good fucking action in the movie.
Yeah, and it's fast. I feel like things happen like